Millions of dollars worth of...
The world's top bodyboarders descend on the New South Wales South Coast next week for the inaugural Kiama Bodyboard King Pro. And joining me in the studio is current world champion Ian Campbell and three-time world champ Ben Player. Welcome along, guys. Great to have you here. Hey, it's in Australia for the first time in 5 years. You must be pleased to have it back down under, Ben.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, for me, like, I used to compete like full time, and I've been all around the globe, like chasing competitions and events everywhere else. And to have an event here in Australia, like to have it come back to my backyard is like such an incredible thing. A, because I can save money, but also B, because like bodyboarding is a super huge sport in Australia. And the South Coast, like the waves that is custom built for bodyboarding.
Yeah. And Ian, being a South African, what about coming to Australia at a disadvantage in other territory?
I don't think so much of a disadvantage, but yeah, I'm just happy to be back here. The first overseas trip I ever did was to Australia, to the Gold Coast, so just to be back in this country, and I mean, to be staying down in Kiama, I think we're really lucky to just have that piece of like perfection down there.
It's a lovely part of the world, and apparently you're competing for 11 days straight from July 30. That's a pretty hectic schedule.
No, that's incorrect. Sorry to put you up on that. So no, we're not competing for 11 days straight. That's the actual event waiting period. So we get to choose the best days within that period because, you know, like surf isn't always there and the kind of quality conditions that we need isn't always there. Yeah. So we're kind of aiming for a couple of days just inside that window, like preferably the biggest and craziest conditions we can get.
Okay, you do enjoy taking on those crazy conditions?
He's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some pretty insane waves already this year, and you know, just stopping on the World Tour in Chile and Brazil, and both places really producing the best conditions that we've had in a long time, and I think we're really fortunate to come back to Australia, and hopefully we can get some good waves here too. Yeah,
I kind of guess like the history of bodyboarding has been like surfing crazy kind of heavy waves like Shark Island, which is a wave location down in Cronulla. It's this really short, like kind of heavy location, and it's pretty dangerous. And there's all these kind of reef breaks in Australia that kind of perfect conditions for bodyboard. I think as it's a slightly shorter craft, you can kind of get into these really like heavy kind of conditions, and it's where it kind of excels, I guess you could say.
Okay, and Ian, you're the current world champion. What was that like winning your first one?
Oh, it was crazy. Yeah, I had some family and really close friends on the beach, and yeah, just winning the first world title kind of really got inspired by Ben at the beginning of the year. Actually, he was talking about people that could potentially be coming up and potentially winning their first world title, which was me and two other guys that have won it in the past. And you know, that really inspired me to kind of chase it and get a trainer and kind of focus solely on, you know, making my dream a reality. So yeah, it was just amazing to win, and then, you know, win the world title in an event before the end of the year was even better.
And does everyone get along when you're out there, or is there some psyching out going on? Or?
What do you think?
For the most part, everyone gets along. There's obviously going to be those rivalries that start up, and I mean, that's just sport for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need the competitiveness, don't you?
Yeah.
Now, what about any scary wildlife? What have you seen out there, Ben?
For me, well, far out, just seen the normal, like sharks and stuff like that. Probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me, actually, was I tried to save this whale once that was out off Avalon Beach where I live. And I had this rope stuck around the back of it, and I tried to rip the rope off it, and it actually just kicked me, and it boosted me like 3 meters in the air. Like guys from shore, like I was like about a K out to sea, and you guys saw me like, like launching it. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of part of what we do. You're out there in nature, and you're going to come across some pretty wild things every so often.
And it comes with risks, doesn't it? It's tough out there, and you had a close call, 2015, west coast of Ireland. Talk us through that.
That's right, yeah. So I was in Ireland filming for a movie that I was actually making called Far North, and just made a stupid decision and ended up landing on my elbow super hard and like ruptured my spleen. But the problem is that I didn't actually know that I would rupture my spleen. I did it and was like bleeding internally for hours, and apparently like guys, you kind of compensate for it, like for the loss of blood. And I was just like continually like trucking along thinking, oh, I'm gonna go surfing again, I need to get more footage for this movie. And then it was like goosh, and yeah, almost like bled to death internally, like on the rocks. And luckily I got airlifted out of there and survived.
It was that close?
Yeah, man, like hours away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when if you hit the waves flush, it's dangerous. It's like concrete, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So you'll find like bodyboarders, like they try and get like a pretty strong core to stop that from happening, because you are on your stomach and you do get some pretty big impacts when you're doing big airs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you're prepared for those kind of impacts. And so one of the things that bodyboarders focus pretty hard on is getting a ripping six-pack.
So I'm a chance then?
You've got a big chance, yeah.
All right, what about the South Coast? We're going to have some, what's the conditions like? Who's looked ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I was staying with Alex Leon, who's the CEO of the APB, and yeah, it's not looking so good for the start, but definitely for the end. You know, there's a possibility of some good swells traveling up the coast, and a lot of south swells coming in with good winds. So looks like we could be in for quite a good time up at the wedges.
Okay, and so bodyboarding, it's growing. Tell us, globally, is it getting bigger and bigger?
I think so, yeah. Like now I've kind of semi-retired and I'm more in the industry side of it. And yeah, I'm seeing a growth within the industry, so it's on a positive thing. And man, with the wave pool technology that's going on, like surfing and bodyboarding are kind of set to boom, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and of course surfing is going to have a run at the Olympics in Tokyo 2020. Mm-hmm. Bodyboarding down the track, is it a chance?
No, we're like, come on, please, guys, let us be a part of that. I wish. That'd be incredible for the sport, and it would be incredible to represent your country as well. Like imagine going like against South Africa and all that kind of stuff. It would give you that, you know, more motivation to kind of go a little bit harder, I reckon.
So were you ever surfers, or was it bodyboarding from the start?
I think, yeah. I mean, my father was a lifesaver his whole life, so that was kind of the initial push into the ocean, and didn't really start surfing. I kind of just grew up on the bodyboard and just kept pushing through. I played a lot of water polo when I was at school, and after that I just decided, you know, I'd rather just chase the dream of trying to become a professional bodyboarder, and just fortunate enough to actually do it.
Yeah.
At the end of it, so.
And Ben, you've won what, 3 world championships? You've done my research. You've come here. You've come here, and have you seen the sport growing?
Yeah, I think it has. Yeah, like since I've begun bodyboarding, I think it's grown. And the best thing about the sport right now is it's kind of owned and operated by bodyboarders. Whereas before, it was kind of like a lot of surfing involvement, like stand-up surfing, and all their companies and brands and stuff like that were a part of the bodyboarding industry. But now it's kind of like owned and represented by bodyboarders, which is a good point to be in. Okay, and it's not a bad life. What, you're at Kiama, which is beautiful, and then you're off to Portugal. You go everywhere. Yeah, this year's kind of been squished together. We've had June, we had 2 events in Chile, and then straight across to Brazil, and now we here in Australia, and then we've got a month back home and off to Portugal for 6 weeks. So yeah, I think everyone looks at this and just being like, you know, you're living the dream, but you don't actually see the parts behind and all the stresses and the trainings and getting visas for the next place and booking flights. And, you know, I think that's the part that a lot of people don't see, that we have to kind of put that on, and that puts a lot of stress on a person. So I think all in all, we live a pretty lavish life, and we're traveling to destinations that some people might just only dream of going to. So I think we're very fortunate to be doing what we're doing, but at the same time, yeah, couldn't ask for it. Right now, who's the favourite in Kiama? Oh man, it's actually some really good competitors going to be here for this event. There's a guy called Jeff Hubbard, who's a semi-retired professional bodyboarder from Hawaii. He's going to be coming out for it, so he'd be like someone to keep an eye out for. Mitch Rollins as well got a wild card. And then you got guys like Ian as well. Pierre's going to be here as well. Is Pierre coming actually? Yeah, Pierre. Yeah, Pierre's coming. There's going to be such talented athletes here for this event, so I reckon you could say like there'd be 15 guys that could probably win it. Easily, yeah. I mean, a lot of the Australians haven't really been joining us on the tour, so it's hard to say, you know, where they're going to fit in, but at the same time we know how competitive they are, for one, and secondly, you know, it's at home, hometown advantage, so I mean, anyone's really got a shot here. Beautiful, okay. And so are you two going to keep talking to each other in the lead up to it, or so you're going to get Foxy down? As soon as we get out of here. That's excellent. Well, we're looking forward to it very much. Kiama, here we come. Kiama Bodyboard King Pro. So July 30? Okay, and it's 11 days straight. No, it's not. You fixed me up on that. I didn't write that question, you know. That's all right. It worked out. We got the information. All right, guys, thanks very much for dropping in, and we look forward to the big event starting July 30. Thank you.